Welcome everybody to TruExact show, and when I'm not wearing a hat, it's a special edition show. I kind of got roped into this one. We are going to preview the upcoming Royal Rumble of 2024. Now, anyone who knows me knows that I tapped out of wrestling when I realized the WWF at the time did not do homage to what the Red Rooster could have been. So I kind of went and lost, and then they had a doink and dink, got back in it. Lo and behold, not the biggest wrestling fan, but I'm here to enjoy what these former Mark side of the ring guys have to talk about. Right here, we got PJ, Freddie, Art, and Miguel. Miguel, how you doing?
Good, my man. It's been a long time. Happy to be chatting up some wrestling with the boys here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I got roped into this one randomly as I was just volunteered to host this because Miguel's too lazy to get his own suit. Art, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Good. What's up? What's up, guys? Good to see everyone.
Yeah, you too. You got awesome hair, by the way. How much gel you use?
He does have the best hair in the game.
Just a small humple.
Is it LA looks or no?
It is actually LA looks.
There we go.
Good old LA looks.
Sixth grade dance all over again. I'm sure you got some blown on as well. Freddie, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to be back on the pod here. Talk some wrestling, Royal Rumble. WrestleMania season is upon us. This Saturday, it all begins, the road to WrestleMania. So looking forward to chatting with you guys.
And last but certainly not least, I met him 8 years ago at Team Backpack in Brooklyn. We rapped together, maintained our friendship, and somehow he squeezed his way into become like really good friends with these guys. PJ North, how you doing, man?
What up, man? Thanks for having me, dude. I'm just happy to be here. Miggs and Fred and Art get me daily, but it's nice to see you too, Scott.
Thank you very much. You know, I hear that a lot.
And before we continue, I have to say, I hate you so much for introducing me to PJ North because this man has been ruining our lives for the last 3 to 4 years now. We're in a chat that goes off more times than you can count, right? Talking wrestling all day. And man, oh man, having to hear PJ's horseshit takes all day is the bane of my existence.
Now, Miguel, would you compare it to being in a group chat with a Cowboys fan?
Honestly, yes. That is the perfect comparison. It is like being in a football chat with your dumbass, your Cowboys fan dumbass, and if Nick Fiorentino was in here, his stupid Eagles fan. Yes, it's the exact equivalent. Guys, couldn't have said it better myself.
That's all.
I didn't realize this is a connection between you two.
Well, you know, PJ's just happy because his Michigan Wolverines are coming fresh off a national championship.
Let's go.
Congratulations. And Miguel's just mad because the Giants are the worst team in football since their Super Bowl about 10 years ago. And I'm just upset because I can't get over the hump as a Cowboy fan.
Hey, Scott, by the way, real quick, Scott, who's the number one team in college basketball right now?
Kansas Jayhawks are not number one. The UConn Huskies are, but it's a 1 month tournament. You know that. Anything could change. It's hard to repeat. It hasn't been done since the 06-07 Florida Gators. All right.
We'd like to keep it that way.
It will be kept that way. All right, let's do this here. We're going to start here by I'm going to swing it to Miguel. Miguel, scale 1 to 10. How excited are you for Sunday, and what are you looking forward to the most?
I'm a 10. Every time the Royal Rumble comes into town, I'm excited and very excited because we're going to be there. So me, Fred, Art, a few others, my brother, his friend, we're actually going, Jersina, who you know, we'll all be down there in Tampa. It's going to be at Tropicana Field. There's going to be about 45,000 people there. Every year, the Royal Rumble is one of the most fun events. It kicks off, like Fred mentioned earlier, it kicks off the road to WrestleMania. This year's WrestleMania is going to be at Lincoln Financial. 75, 80,000 people there. It's going to be one for the book. So I'm going to say a 10.
All right, Art, what about you?
I can't say I'm going to the event, so it's a 10. It just settled in this week that it's a big event. It's a huge event, so I'm excited. I'll give it a 10.
All right, Freddie, if you say anything less than a 10, I got to judge you here, right?
Oh, it's a Royal Rumble, never less than a 10, let alone this year. We got a lot happening. A lot of guys in this Rumble that are eligible, possible to win that maybe we haven't seen in quite some time. So beyond a 10.
Now, PJ, it sounds like you're the heel in this group chat. So I kind of want you to say that you're not too excited just to piss Miguel off here.
You know, me and Miguel, we have quite the kayfabe fight going, but I'm still excited. Royal Rumble is one of my favorite events. I remember, as a kid being watching it constantly. So it's a good event. I got to go last year. We went to San Antonio, which was awesome. I wish I was going to Tropicana this year with the boys, but I'm excited to see Cody go back to back.
Scott, when's the last time you watched the Royal Rumble? And the second part of my question is, are you going to be watching this Saturday on Peacock?
The last time I actually watched the Royal Rumble was when Taka Michinoku flew over the ropes and slammed his face on the ground. If you remember that one,
that's the 2000 Rumble.
Yeah,
and he wasn't even in it.
Yeah,
Fred's favorite.
That's the best part.
That's funny how I remember that specific thing. I also remember growing up when Jerry the King Lawler hid under the ring, and then I think Crush grabbed him. Was it Crush or something?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was Crush.
I love the 97. The one with King hiding is great, but I love the 97 when he's mid-sentence in commentary, gets announced for the Rumble, gets eliminated right away, and just hops right back on, puts his headset on, and continues his sentence. It's absolute genius.
What a waste of a spot there. I mean,
they've done that before. They did it with Michael Cole and Booker T.
Oh, that's right. They did it with
JBL.
Cole, yeah.
I'll say
but King was first.
King was first.
My favorite
first.
My favorite Rumble moment ever is I think it was the one that Big John Studd won, and I think like the Warlord came in. Yeah, the Warlord came in. And like he stepped in the ring, and Hogan just clotheslined him out in half a second. That was my favorite Rumble moment.
Wow, so your fandom is really going back. Mine doesn't go back. I think mine starts probably like 2000 with WWF. Jeez. It was World War III for me. That was my Royal Rumble.
World War III was awesome, man. Hey, the 60-man Rumble, but they were all in there at the same time, which made it less fun. I wish they would have done 60-man, and it would have just been the entire pay-per-view for WCW. And just at one point, they've got all 5 Vianos coming out at one by one, just a Viano into the ring. But the 3-ring World War III was awesome. I do. It's the Royal Rumble, though, often imitated, never duplicated, right?
You're right about that. Art, I have to say, it looks like I stopped in 2000. You picked up where I left off. I crawled so you could walk. We'll go with that.
Thank you, my friend.
All right, Miguel, I'll go to you. What are you expecting in this Rumble? Who do you expect to win? Any dark horses? And what would they be doing wrong if they let a certain person win? I want to hear all the dirt here.
So so I've been wrestling with this. The guys know that are in my group chat. I've been wrestling with this for quite some time now, but I've been really thinking about who's going to win the Royal Rumble this year. And the safe pick is to pick either Cody Rhodes, who's the winner of last year, right? So go back to back, or the returning CM Punk. Scott, I'm sure you even know who CM Punk is, right?
Yeah.
Guy's a mega star in the sports and media world at this point. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes are the 2 favorites to win. If one of them didn't win, I'd probably be a little surprised unless, and this is where my dark horse, and he's no dark horse at all, but The Rock might be returning at the Royal Rumble. And if The Rock is in the Rumble match himself, I'm calling it right now. He is absolutely going to win. And I'm going to say he's my prediction to win. So it's not a dark horse. He's not even scheduled for the match. He's going to be in the match. He's going to win.
Okay. Fred, what's your take?
That's strong. Speaking of Rock, I want to congratulate The Rock on being named to the board of directors of TKO Group today. And in honor, drinking a little of his own Terramana right here. So cheers to The Rock.
It just never stops. You want to know why WWE is the machine that it is? It's Fred and Miguel's constant love affair with it.
They know how to run
it. It's the Disney
Fred,
effect,
Fred, turn off the filter. Let's see the background.
He
refuses. Just in case this ever gets out, he can't do that.
There it is. There you see the CM Punk plaque from this Survivor Series. Right above it, the plaque from 2011 when he won his world title, starting the 434-day reign, which now compared to Roman Reigns' epic 1,600 some odd day run is nothing. But at the time, 434 days was very impressive. But back to all this, all that saying to say this, that I do think that the possibility of The Rock is not that crazy. I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of talk of him and Roman Reigns and when that can potentially happen, and it's going to happen more likely now than ever before. So is that a possibility? It sure is, but I'm still going to go with my gut, and I'm going to say that CM Punk is going to win the Royal Rumble. I have heard some rumblings, no pun intended, that we may have a little bit of a remake of the Royal Rumble in 1994 with Bret Hart and Lex Luger, where they both fall out at the same time and both feet touch the floor at the same time. So we'll see if that happens. It happened in 05 with Batista and Cena, but not on purpose, even though it ended up being a historic moment. It actually a mistake that ended up being really good. But
yeah, it was really great. McMahon blew out both quads.
well, except
it was
that
actually
part.
the highlight of the event.
Yeah,
That was the only
Him
that
sitting in the corner like a baby, where they're just like he can't move.
And for
It's the
years,
best
though,
part.
I didn't know. For years, I didn't know if that was the legit finish or not because it came off so smooth.
Right.
And they did do it in '94. That it
Mhm.
wasn't out of the possibility, you know, that was meant to happen. But it's been said that was not supposed to happen.
You know, I misspoke earlier in the chat this week about that 94. I said Sean and I meant Brett and Lex. You know, it's funny if imagine if we had like the review that they have on NFL now, right? They'd be sitting at that Cena and Batista moment was so well done, it was perfect. Whereas like if we'd had to go back to that 94, I'm not sure Luger and Hart are that good. They could that they both hit the floor at the same time, right?
And they didn't practice it apparently. That they just went out and did that.
Yeah, because Brett wanted to win. He's like, "Hey, this guy will figure it out, or he won't." Yeah, I'm winning either way.
That whole Lex run is an odd.
It's the highlight of the Lex documentary.
Yeah,
It's his run as the Lex Express.
because like it's like they were pushing him like he was the guy, but he never really was the guy. Almost sounds similar, doesn't it, PJ?
And it's tough. It's really, it's almost like if Roman never got over the hump, right? If they like never would have turned him heel and they'd have just like kept force feeding him as a good guy, and everyone's like, we just don't buy this.
Well, that would have been bad. Thank God for COVID.
Hey,
in that
Scott,
sense.
Scott, do you know about what happened with Vince McMahon, what they were referencing earlier? Have you ever seen that before?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
where he storms in the ring and he
Yeah.
blows both
Yeah.
quads
it
right
was
on.
horrifying. It was actually horrible. Yeah, apparently not.
Incredible.
PJ's cracking up. So
Well, let me tell you something. It's the best thing ever when someone who should not be involved gets involved and then creates this moment of like, it's like the
live
tightest
TV.
thing, right? It's exactly right. It's the tightest thing where he slides under the ring. It's the same.
Oh.
It's this moment of like, I don't even care about Cena or Batista, but Vince McMahon blowing out both quads is my favorite part of that.
The
finish.
tightest. I refuse to acknowledge the greatest Royal Rumble as part of Royal Rumble history.
I just
But-
meant in general, but yes.
No,
I
no,
get
no.
what you're saying.
But I'm saying, being that it technically was a Royal Rumble, you can't not bring that up. That greatest
Greatest
Royal
one.
Rumble slide, you
did
couldn't
he
make
get
that up.
That was in the Royal Rumble, right?
Yeah, the Titus
Did
had come
did
out
he
and
win? Because he can't get thrown over the ropes at that point.
Well, no.
No. He ended up getting in the ring, but he trips and falls and slides under the ring. I mean, he ends up getting up, but it's like
Yeah.
the most. And then they had all the
Take two or
memes, right,
three.
where it was like him sliding across like the ice all the way through, just like all
it was
types of
done
crazy
so
stuff.
perfectly. It's
It was
like
incredible.
he was lucky that because usually there's an LED board at that particular side of at the ring.
Thanks.
And for whatever reason, I think because there was a steel cage that night.
Oh.
Whenever it changes the way that the ring is. Anyway, he was very lucky because that wouldn't have maybe not been as funny as it ended up being if he crashed right into an LED board.
Oh my!
So,
Both times.
Freddie, you got CM Punk winning it, correct?
I'm going to go with CM Punk. Final vote. Yep.
All right, let's go to Art. I'll say PJ for last because I think you like to ruffle some feathers here. So we'll go with Art. What do you think?
Well, I'm wearing a certain somebody's shirt that I would hope to think that he's finishing his story, at this WrestleMania. But I don't think his story involves being a two-time Royal Rumble winner. I think that has to go with the popular vote here with CM Punk. I think, and the reason why, because I think Cody needs to go through the Elimination Chamber to continue his story and to get that belt at Mania. He's going to get it, but I think the Royal Rumble two-time winner is not needed on his resume.
Fair enough. Even as someone who doesn't really know much, that was very convincing, Art, I have to say. I agree with Art. He really worded his stuff, and he didn't plug a random vodka. So,
Tequila.
Tequila. PJ, you're up. What do you got?
I mean, I'm not gonna shy away. I think it's Cody. He deserves. I mean, like he said last night, carrying the company. I would be. I'm not gonna be upset. The Rumble's the best part, right? And they've done a good job with not telling us who was all involved. But who do I think should win? Should be Cody. That's who I think will win. But I've been wrong once in my life, so this might be number 2.
Well,
Two.
it's not the end of the world if you are. Just gotta throw it out there.
It might be. You don't know. The only way it's not the end of the world is if number 28 wins, and Miguel has to send me a Venmo. That's all I care about.
I'm banking on number 10, baby. Let's go.
I do want to ask you all this because Miguel, you brought up The Rock coming back, and I remember one of the arguments Nick had on this show was when Bill Goldberg came back and like won the belt, and one of his main complaints about the WWE, they kept recycling. Now, it seems like Miguel and Fred, you guys are okay with this. You're okay with them just bringing the old guys back and making them champs, making them winners.
Oh,
but like,
beyond.
Now it doesn't seem like PJ or Art really like it. Like, Miguel, don't you think that doesn't allow other younger talent to bust through? You think it's such a machine now that it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter, right? So, I mean, yeah, I understand when Nick was saying about Goldberg, and we talked about that a couple years back, because Goldberg was the guy for a little bit, but he wasn't the biggest larger-than-life superstar in the history of wrestling. I mean, right? Like, The Rock is beyond a megastar now. He's, because of Hollywood and everything that he's done post his WWE
He's basically,
career,
he could be president one day.
he could be president. He's probably the most well-liked guy on this planet, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, politics
aside from me, but yeah.
Besides Scott Gambino, but yeah, I mean, I think The Rock coming back is great not only for business. I mean, Fred just mentioned earlier, a guy got appointed to the board of directors of the parent company earlier today. I think it brings so many eyeballs to the product, even more eyeballs. I mean, it coincides with the announcement they had today that Raw is going to Netflix. No better time than The Rock to come back and do one final run with the company. And this is his swan song because the guy's 50. I don't know. What is he, Fred? 50 years old, 52?
He's in his early 50s.
Early 50s, we'll
something
say.
like that. Yeah. It doesn't look it, but he is.
Check the back of the tequila bottle. It might be on there.
Check the back.
But you'll have these stats, Fred? Come on.
It's like a baseball card just on the back.
But no, I think this is...
His birthday's May 2nd, though. Okay. I just don't know the exact year.
I think it would be a good marketing just to continue the marketing. He's popping up. He popped up at HQ today, right? Like you guys said earlier. Yeah. He's showing up on on Wall Street and all those channels. So I think why wouldn't he show up in Tampa? Make some more headlines.
So Art, do you have a problem with it though, Art? Or are you okay with them recycling?
Oh, with them recycling, as long as I like the fresh matchup. I don't like them facing off with each other. Like Fred and Miguel, they love part 7, part 8 of a feud. I would love to see these older guys with some of the new guys. Seth Rollins, put them against Seth Rollins. I would love to see any of those old guys with someone new like that.
But Art, I'm going to pose it. Sorry, Scott. I'm going to ask a follow-up question. Art, don't you think Rock versus Roman would be the biggest match in wrestling history at this point?
So I've heard that question before. I don't think in history. I think that title still stays with The Rock, but I think he shares that title with Hogan and not Roman.
So you think Rock and Roman falls second to Rock and Hogan, you're saying?
I'm saying it's under Roman and Hogan. I'm sorry, Rock and Hogan.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I think it'd be the biggest match.
Don't let him trip you up, Art. Stick to your guns.
I know how Fred feels.
Well, in all honesty, though, full transparency, I mean, I do think that The Rock and Roman, it's the biggest match that can possibly happen now, for sure, and for years and years to come, and for many years past. But with that being said, I don't know if you can necessarily can compare the two, but I don't know if it would be as big as Rock and Hogan, that because of what that was. As big as Roman is, and he's huge. Hogan at the point that The Rock faced him was the biggest star in wrestling history. It's still, really still is, regardless of opinions of him and all that. You can't deny the fact that Hogan is, goes down as one of the most famous wrestlers of all time. Rock has, surpassed that as far as mainstream popularity, but most people don't even look at The Rock as a wrestler. He's an actor. Oh yeah, he used to wrestle. I hate it, but it's just the reality of it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I think Rock is a bigger star now, say, right? If you do Rock and Roman now, I think Rock is a bigger star than Hogan was when he faced The Rock. But I don't know if Roman is as big a star as Rock was when Rock faced Hogan. Because you have to also remember that, when Rock faced Hogan, they were just coming off the hottest period in wrestling. Rock was a megastar and was just starting to get into Hollywood on top of it. Roman's been on top for years and he's on one of the best runs in the history of wrestling. But I don't know if mainstream Roman is as big as Rock was in 2002. I have to admit that, even though I acknowledge my tribal chief every day. With that being said, Rock and his biggest match of all time.
Hold up, Miguel. I want to pass it to PJ because first he gave a thumbs down about The Rock, and then I saw him make a snickering face towards Fred. So address
what else is new?
Okay.
Yeah.
Look. I agree. I'll tell this, and I have said this in the chat, that Rock and Roman is the biggest WrestleMania match of all time. It sets every record. It blows. Rock and Hogan was fine, and it was during, like, it was right after the hottest period, like you said, right? It's like right during that hottest period of wrestling. But like Hogan's on the way out, like whatever at that point. Like really, he could go in that match, and that's fine. But like you're talking about, look, I don't think Roman is worth anything. I don't enjoy it. But as far as wrestling goes, he is a megastar in wrestling right now, and against Rock makes the most sense. They just shouldn't do it with a title because Roman never wrestles. So if he's going to wrestle once a year, you might as well wrestle The Rock, who wrestles once every 10 years with no title belt. But it would be the largest, and I said this in chat, I agree, it's the largest WrestleMania match of all time because The Rock is the largest known human being in America, hands down. I mean, right? Is there anyone more famous than The Rock? Honestly?
If you pull anyone outside, like pretty much a large population outside of the wrestling community, you'll get more people recognizing Rock Hogan than Rock Roman.
That's fair. I just think if you're combining the two, right?
That's my main argument. I'm saying, yeah, that's fair. Community, you can make the argument, but I'm saying as a whole, in pop culture, I think Rock Hogan takes that title and will continue.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. That was the point I was making before. Is I think that you know. But yeah, that's fair. With that being said, that match is also.
But was The Rock a big deal back then? That's what I'm saying. You're kind of looking at the two things, not as right. He's kind of where, like, did people know who The Rock was outside of that? Right.
The Rock.
That was like The Rock's third return,
then. But he was still huge,
I think. But still.
But again, at that point, the other thing I was thumbs downing The Rock earlier. Not The Rock is like the one legacy guy. Him and Stone Cold can do whatever they want, whenever they want, because they're great human beings for the most part, and they're exciting to watch. The thumbs down to the people coming back is I don't enjoy the part-time thing. I don't enjoy like the half-timers all the time. Like a lot of it's okay, but like I just like the Goldberg thing was like the worst thing of all. But wrestling was in a weird period during that time, so like, all right, whatever. But I don't enjoy the part-timers coming back, which is why I also don't enjoy, we've talked about this, the Taker thing. Like, I don't enjoy him coming back for 3 months to just terrorize my TV and then to show up for WrestleMania and then leave again for 9 months. That's just not my thing. But I'm not knocking everybody's whose it is. Just not my thing.
We're all entitled to our opinion. Also, before I get to Miguel, because I know you want to say something, a lot of these matches you guys are throwing out, you're missing out two big ones, in my opinion. Sting versus the NWO Hogan in Starrcade 97, and Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow with Salt and Pepper walking them down the aisle. I mean, like, come on, you're missing out on those.
Hey, honestly, if Salt and Pepper would have like performed Bam Bam's entrance instead of just walking him down, it might have been cooler. Instead, you had like Ken Norton, a bunch of random retired football players with LT.
Frank goes, "Those the worst WrestleMania."
Well, now one of the worst is WrestleMania 9, but 11
is 11 was not great.
11 is a strong second.
What are you gonna do? Miguel,
2 is not that good either. 2, 9, and 11, I think, are the worst.
You got to give a pass on the first couple, though. They didn't really know what they were doing,
right?
You know what I mean?
The first one for historical significance, and the main event. You watch that main event; it's hot. I mean, the crowd is into it, but I mean, you can't even compare WrestleMania 15 years ago to what it's grown into.
That's the crazy thing, right? We look at it now, like the first stadium stuff, like when they started hitting these mega stadiums, and like
we can't.
It's unreal.
This is a Royal Rumble, though. We'll save a WrestleMania preview for later. Can't bleed in.
All right. Well, the point being is Rock and Roman might happen at some point.
See, folks who are watching. That's what hosting is all about. All right, Miguel, I know you had your hand up like you wanted to combat what PJ was saying.
No. What I was doing is Roman, which, Sky, I know you're not a fan of the current product, but just so that you know, Roman when he's talking, you're acknowledging him by putting.
There we go.
Geez, like he's some sort of deity. What a pompous fuck! I don't think I'd like him that much. Whatever happened to the Texas Tornado and lunch pail guys like the Brooklyn Brawler? Now those are my type of guys. Let's move on though to the women, right? We can do that. The Women Royal Rumble. Sure, and I'll go backwards on this one. PJ, same questions. What are you expecting? Any dark horses here?
I'm very excited. I think the Women's Rumble always has it has the allure to have more entrants who you're not expecting because there's not like it's a lot smaller of a roster on the main shows.
Fair point.
So I'm excited to see. Yeah. Well, that's fair. I'm excited to see the surprise entrance. But I do think that we've talked about it, and the more I'm convinced that Bayley might win. So I think that's kind of where my head's at. I have like the world's worst number in the Royal Rumble pool, so I don't really care at this point. I'm just kind of excited to watch it all together.
All right, Art.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a particular favorite, but Bayley is up there. I think anyone can, and I think if you can throw any name out there, and it'd be a good name. There's a lot of good talent, a lot of good people returning, possibly. There's a possible Sasha Banks returning, but who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen?
Will Sable be back?
All I know is if Sable comes back, she better win. That's all I get.
If Sable comes out in the Royal Rumble,
you know what? PJ has no problem with them recycling her to re-win.
Yeah, I think
absolutely
nothing wrong with that.
Sign me up, Daddy.
Yeah. We don't have any of her tequila, so we can't really, Freddie, go on.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go 3 in a row here. You can consider her a dark horse, but she really shouldn't be. I'm gonna go with Bayley. I think, the story that they've been telling for months with Damage Control and the infiltration of Asuka and Kairi Sane coming in and kind of taking over almost. And I think there's a lot.
Whoa. Did you just call her Kairi Sane? I'm gonna need you to pronounce it correctly. You know how to say it. Kairi Sane. Come on,
Kairi.
Come on.
I really don't know.
Just gonna be out here letting. He's like, I'm just letting him go. I'm just gonna let it go.
Is it Kairi Sane?
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Come on, Mark.
Kairi Sane.
So I couldn't live with myself.
No, I stand corrected. I like Kairi Sane. So
and there's a basketball player,
Kyrie
Irving. Just want to throw that out there.
Not the
Kyrie.
Sorry, Fred.
No. But yeah, so they're telling a really good story with that, and with Io Sky having the championship. I think Bayley versus Io Sky at WrestleMania would be a great match on the SmackDown side, especially with Charlotte getting hurt. Probably kind of changed some plans. We don't know what though. I mean, I don't see her winning, but you never say never, right? Jade Cargill, very likely to debut in the Royal Rumble. Does she not win it if she debuts in it? I don't know. She doesn't need to win, but I think when you really want to push somebody right from the start, boom. I mean, that's huge.
What are your odds of her showing up? What would you say? 2-1? 5-1?
It depends how she's doing in the Performance Center. I know that she's been training, every day there because the objective is they want her to get to a point where they're going to put her in positions that she needs to be ready.
If she shows up in the Rumble, she has to win it. There's no question.
Does she though? Does she have to win? Because
she has to.
If she needs strong going, she doesn't have to win the match.
Well, that was going to be my next point. She can do a Diesel Kane, showing, Roman Reigns showing, right? Where they just throw everybody out, but then, somebody comes out at the end and ends up winning it, right? So
I don't think you want to do it off the bat.
Yeah. I don't know, but I'm going to go with Bayley as the pick. I think there's a lot of, then they could do a whole story. If Bayley wins, well, obviously you're going to challenge Rhea, right? They're going to, Io could say and all that, like, oh yeah. And then turns, she ends up deciding to, challenge Io instead. You know what I mean? They could do a whole thing like that. I think there's a lot of, good storytelling that they could do with it. So
real quick, I was like, I didn't even think about this, but do you think they'll pivot now that Charlotte's out of for the next few months or however many months, for that dream match to be Jade versus Rhea. I think like now that you said it out loud, I think that's a great matchup.
Well, Jade versus Rhea is definitely. I mean, that's money. I just don't think that'll happen now. I think the direction is definitely Becky and Rhea. They've been teasing that for the last couple weeks. They did the one tease months ago, but they've been picking it up quite a bit right now. So I think that's the match on the Raw side, and that's going to be awesome, Rhea and Becky. But I mean, Rhea and Jade, it's at some point for sure. That's money. Really, Jade versus anybody is going to be money. Her and Bianca, her and Charlotte, her and Becky, her and Rhea. I mean, God, you could just go through the.
Sounds like a lot of names. Sounds like a Lou Bega song.
I'm on number 5.
We'll get right started.
Miguel. All right, women's, and then we'll touch on the Logan Paul match. But go with the women's Royal Rumble real quick.
And I'm
going to go with Becky Lynch winning the Royal Rumble. So, we just talked about Becky and Rhea as another main event match, probably scheduled for WrestleMania. And I love the fact that there's 2 women's champions, right? So you don't really know for sure. If there was only Io Sky as champion, you would probably think Bayley's the only favorite to win. But now there's 2 women's champions in there. I think Becky could win. I think Becky's going to be a 2-time Royal Rumble champion. My surprise, no one has talked about this yet. I kind of threw it in our group chat. I don't know if you guys read or saw this when I put it about a week or 2 ago, but what if we saw returning AJ Lee, Mrs. CM Punk, come in the Royal Rumble this year? That would be pretty sick.
That could happen.
I don't think she'll win it. I think it'll be a
not win it, but be in the Royal Rumble. I mean,
she wouldn't win it. That would be huge, bro. If I sound like Vince Russo now, bro.
You are Vince.
I know that name,
bro. That would be huge. I mean, that pop. I could tell you, you'll hear it because you'll hear me loud enough if AJ Lee comes out of the Royal Rumble.
Listen, I thought we already established no woman is allowed to come back unless it's Sable, as PJ said.
Them's the rules, kid.
Those are the rules.
All right, Miguel, touch on the Logan Paul defending his U.S. title versus Kevin Owens.
All right, so anyone that knows me knows that I'm a big Paul brothers mark. Logan Paul, Jake Paul, these guys are running roughshod over the combat.
Really quick. Would you dinner? Someone's eating dinner. You have a choice to sit next to them or Eli Manning. What table you going to?
Okay, I'm going Eli Manning, guys.
Okay, so you're not the biggest mark. You're a fraud, is what you're saying.
Even though the Pauls are probably more successful.
Massive mark for Logan Paul, but yeah, Logan Paul, current United States champion. He actually hasn't defended the title since he won it at the Crown Jewel pay-per-view back in Saudi Arabia in November. But
I didn't realize that.
For anyone that
the only guy that works as hard as Roman is Logan Paul.
Anyone that watched the Jake Paul fight, though, I mean, the guy came out, Logan, right? His brother came out with the United States Championship. Everywhere this guy goes, he was at UFC pay-per-views. He's on, obviously, he has his podcast, right? The guy's exploding with his prime drink. He's all over the place. And everywhere he goes, I appreciate the fact that he brings his United States Championship with him. For the match itself, Kevin Owens, I think Logan Paul easily retains. And I think there's a showdown waiting, Logan Paul. And I'm going to go my dream match for WrestleMania, Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny at WrestleMania 40.
My God.
This is the year, Scott. This is the year all the dream matches. This is the year financial, the worst place in America, Philadelphia, to do the dream matches.
I get it, but if you go back 30 years ago, that dream match would be the equivalent of trying to think
LT versus Bam Bam.
Yeah, there you go. Or Los Del Rio, the people who sang Macarena versus fucking whoever was popular, Steven Seagal. That's the time.
I am surprised Steven Seagal never made an appearance in the WWE. That is remarkable.
That is crazy.
WCW, or am I making that up?
Not that I know of, but maybe he
Yeah. Wasn't he? I'll look it up, Art. We'll verify that.
That's I think we just discovered a Mandela effect here on this show right now.
We all remember. Hey, look, the Logan Paul thing. I can't believe I agree with Miguel twice. Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny at Mania would be absolutely ill. So good. But him versus KO is cool because KO's the dude can work with anybody, right? We've seen it. He's a big dude. He works with everybody. So he's only going to he made 60-plus-year-old Stone Cold look like Stone Cold. So, we know he's going to make Logan Paul look really, really good. And Logan Paul is, we've talked about this, like, in the ring, dude's pretty legit.
Yeah.
He's cornball on the mic because he's like a TikTok kid, right? So he like does the TikTok thing or whatever. But like he's done great things with the title belt. He's made it very interesting. I didn't realize he hadn't wrestled since the last time Roman won the title either. So that's pretty good that they're on the same schedule. Must be really nice to show up to work once every other quarter.
What I heard is that he's no Fandango on the mic, but whatever.
That's exactly.
Fandango.
Fandango. Freddie, what do you think about the match?
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, anything that, like PJ was saying, anything Kevin Owens does is always good. And Logan Paul has outdone himself. I say this all the time. He has no business being as good as he is in that ring. Yes, he's always in there with guys that, are great, but still, the fact that he's able to do what he is able to do with so few matches under his belt, with no previous experience, is just incredible. I mean, I think Logan's going to win. I think Logan's going to go into WrestleMania as the U.S. champion, and I think what we're going to get to is him and LA Knight at WrestleMania. And I think LA Knight's going to win, not the world title, but he's going to win the second biggest title on SmackDown at WrestleMania and have a big moment. I think LA Knight versus Logan Paul is money. So I'm going to go with Logan Paul on that. But curious to see what Kevin Owens does at WrestleMania, to be honest. I know, again, this is a Rumble podcast, but just looking ahead, because Rumble kind of gives you the direction where we're going a little bit. I am curious to see what Kevin does after this.
How do you follow Austin?
What was that?
I said, how do you follow Austin?
How do you follow Austin? Boy, I mean, from Austin, main eventing one year, the main eventing the next, and, one of the hottest matches of going into WrestleMania last year. He's got a lot of big shoes to fill. I don't know if he's in a position this year, unfortunately, to have such a high profile match as he's had the last 2 years, but he'll find something.
I have a prediction here. I just thought of it, but I'm going to let Art cover this Logan Paul, his take on it, and then I will give you my prediction, which I think will come true. Go on, Art.
Oh, okay.
All right, sure. I mean, I'm going to say, Logan Paul, like Fred said, he has no business being as good as he is. He's a hell of an athlete. I think KO is going to make him. KO is going to make him work and make him earn that victory. I think Logan's going to take this to WrestleMania. But I also want to say, I threw out that dream match of Bunny versus Logan Paul a year ago before any of this, because I saw that match would be money. That was before even Logan Paul became champion. But realistically, I don't think they'll get Bunny in time. But I think LA Knight, down the road would make sense to take it off of. But LP at Royal Rumble.
All right, my prediction. Sorry, go on, Fred.
No. I'm just saying another match that I would love to see, and who knows, because maybe we'll find out a little bit more tomorrow. You never know. But Logan Paul versus John Cena, I think, could be huge. And
didn't they just post something?
Well, he's going to be on his podcast. Cena's going to be on Impulsive tomorrow, right? And if you remember, they did build up Roman and Logan off of the podcast. I don't know if they would, rinse repeat with that, but it's something to think about. But I would love to see that match before Cena hangs it up. He's got less in front of him, less in front of him than he does behind him. But Cena Logan would be huge. I think
he's got override theory.
Yeah.
Terrible.
All right.
Theory. At the time last year, we thought, but it is what it is.
Here's my prediction. Miguel, you're saying that The Rock might be there, right? It's saying like there's rumors going around. My prediction is he beats Logan Paul for the U.S. title and announces his candidacy for president in this upcoming election.
Genius.
2020. I think that's
honestly, it would be great. Did you see the thing that they posted, the teaser they posted today with Cena with Logan Paul, was that him questioning whether or not The Rock had something, his word. And you know what's funny? If that, could you imagine him just hold up the United States title and being like, and I'm coming for the presidency too, and then
I'm gonna lay
what a time to be alive.
I'm gonna lay the smackdown on Biden and Trump's candy ass.
And then did you see? Then Logan, after he posted it, he quote tweeted it and wrote, "Is he gonna fire me?"
I hope my boss doesn't fire me or whatever.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Great.
So
Well,
funny.
that would be something, but I'm probably wrong. But probably, yeah, definitely wrong. No chance that happens. But I mean, it might be the best option with what's coming up for us in November. Let's be honest. So, Miguel, Fatal 4-Way match. Can you guys explain what this is? This is the main event here. What the hell is a 4-Way match? Is this like, it's not like an I Quit match, a 60-minute match? I'd like to know. Miguel.
All right, so Fatal 4-Way, very simple, right? 4 guys, in this case, competing for the ultimate prize in professional wrestling, right? The undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Right now, Roman Reigns, who is on the greatest win streak in the modern day history, right? He's 1,000, I think, 1,205 days and counting as undisputed WWE Universal Champion, is defending that said championship against 3 other guys, right? AJ Styles, LA Knight, and of course, Randy Orton, right? 14-time champion Randy Orton. So in a Fatal 4-Way, it's very simple. The first guy that wins, that gets a pinfall or submission, wins the championship. So
it's
Roman
like
Reigns
Super Smash Brothers Melee going on.
It's exactly like that. It's exactly like that. So in this case, Scott,
great comparison.
Roman is on the greatest win streak, right? The 1,200 and counting day win streak. He doesn't even have to be pinned or submitted to lose the title, right? If Randy Orton RKO's AJ Styles 1, 2, 3, and they can't stop the pin from happening, Randy Orton just took that championship off Roman Reigns.
That's pretty fucking impressive, although I have a 100,000 day win streak at Uno Attack. So we're kind of on the same level.
Kind of the same thing, really.
1-1A.
Well, all right, so that's the match. What do you think's going to happen, Miguel?
This is the hardest one to predict, right? Because, and we could do 30 podcasts on just this topic alone, right? 30 years worth of podcasts on this topic alone. But, you know, again, Roman Reigns hasn't lost, right? He hasn't lost, I should say, but obviously he's held his title for over 1,200 days right now. So how do you get this title off of him, right? So in this case, could they go the easy route by having, for example, Randy Orton pin or submit another wrestler that's not Roman Reigns, so that it's kind of not a cop-out, but Roman could at least go on the mic the next show and say, I wasn't pinned. I wasn't submitted. Of course, this was the match where I lost my title, but it wasn't me. I wasn't the one that took the fall for this. But the bigger question is, and this is where I'm not sure, we talked about Cody Rhodes before, right? Cody Rhodes has been on this, I don't know, year-long journey since he lost WrestleMania last year to say, I need to finish my story. I need to win the ultimate prize in wrestling, which is the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. So I don't know what happens. This is the match, and this is what I love about wrestling, right? This is the match I have no idea the way that they're going to go. Does Roman drop the belt? Does he keep it to WrestleMania? Does he drop it to Cody at WrestleMania? Where does The Rock come into play, right? We've been talking about all night, Rock and Roman, biggest match probably in WWE and wrestling history. So if I had to pick, I'm going to say Roman retains at the Royal Rumble.
All right, this is why Miguel likes wrestling, because he doesn't know what's going to happen. Whereas he knows every Sunday he tunes in his Giants, they're going to lose by 20.
No, you know what, Scott? And I said this to people all the time, right? My friends, like you guys and those of you that watch football and other friends too, I say, you should just watch more wrestling because the Giants will break your heart, but the WWE does not break
The
your
worst is I text you this year that like it used to be like a fun rivalry. Now it's just been a beating for 8 years.
Bad rivalry now.
Bad. Now, Art, we're going to go to you next. What do you think?
Like Miguel said, there's a lot of ways it can go, and everything you have to think, right? What's the end game for WrestleMania? You know, that's the thought process you have to go through. So Cody doesn't necessarily need to beat Roman to finish his story. You know, he can go the Randy route. I think it would be kind of pointless to have this long of a streak and go the cop out and have Randy pin someone else and take that belt off Roman. I think it makes sense to keep it on Roman at this point. Let's make a definitive loss, and you know, let's make that happen with Cody.
All right, PJ, you're giving a thumbs down. I don't know if that's sort of symbol for a wrestler or you're still pissed about Roman Reigns. What's going on here?
Look, I've been unemployed since July 10th, and I've worked more recently than Roman Reigns.
I was going to say,
Okay.
This isn't, maybe you switched over to your therapist? Like, I didn't know if you were
No, I think, you know, the funny thing, Fatal 4-Way is tough because I think it's, like Art said, it's super cornball if they take the title off of him that way. I just think like he deserves to lose because he hasn't beaten anybody either. So I just don't see the point in that. I guess I don't get the story part of that, but maybe Roman or maybe The Rock costing him the title might be, I don't know, something. As long as it's some sort of creative finish, I'll be happy. I do think I think Roman goes over and Roman continues his reign of terror. You know, I don't know how you can count your days consecutively when you don't show up to work, but nonetheless, I digress.
Does that mean my Uno attack record is not like
I don't know how
legit?
often you play. Do you play more than once a quarter?
I haven't played since 1999.
Nah, your record. Look, you know what? You're a lot like the Cowboys. Talk all this game before the playoffs, dog,
right.
and then it gets rough out there.
Bring your own deck if you ever need to play me. Freddie, on.
Yeah, I mean, God, you know, of course, it's a fatal four-way. You know, Miguel explained how it works. It could go any way. If it was any other champion, I'd say, you know, oh yeah, I could see Randy win, and I could see LA Knight win, and AJ, whatever. But I just don't see this far invested. Roman losing the belt after all this 2 months before the biggest show of the year, especially if he were to face The Rock. Now, with that said, like Art said, I don't think that Rock versus Roman necessarily needs the title. But are you really going to have Roman lose the title and then have him go into the biggest match of his career after just losing, you know, the biggest defeat of his career? You know, you want to go into the biggest match of your life on, you know, good, right? If they do it where he doesn't get pinned, I guess then it's not as bad. But I don't see Roman losing it right now.
Do you think that match goes on last?
Well, now that's another topic of discussion. There's some rumblings, again, no pun intended, whether that will or the Rumble will. You know, I said this in our group chat. I'm not really a big fan of when the Rumble isn't the main event, but there have been situations that warranted it. Last year was one of them. You know, 97 when Shawn was home in San Antonio, and 98 because The Undertaker was burned in the casket. You know, you're not gonna go off a pay-per-view, you know, after something like that, right? So
I just think that wherever it places on the show, speaks to what's going to happen at Mania.
Well, that right? I can agree with that 100%. Yeah. I mean, and even for that night, like if that match doesn't go last, then you know he's not losing, right? Because Roman losing is going to be the equivalent to when Bruno dropped it, you know, back in the day, and they said you could hear a pin drop, you know, in the Garden, right? Granted, that run was 8 years, but in today's wrestling, the reign that Roman has had is an equivalent, you know. I never thought we would even see this in today's wrestling.
Someone say
guy had it for a year.
Supreme.
Huh?
Yeah, you know, Scott's really proud of that one.
That was good. He had that written down in his notes all day long.
big capital letters.
Yeah.
I'll wait till I drop this one.
They're gonna mark out to this.
You know, so yeah, no, I think Roman Reigns will reign supreme. There you go.
Say like I'm a walking catchphrase. That's what I am. I want to ask, if you four were in this fatal four-way match, I'd have to assume you three would team up and beat Miguel, right?
No,
every day. We do this every day.
Me and Miguel, as we do in our group chat, would definitely team up against PJ.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. And then Art, you'd have to decide what to do here. You'd be like the.
No. I don't want Art's help anymore. Art didn't save my number. I don't want Art's help. Art is he's out. You might as well leave me out there alone.
Now that I formally met you, I can add your name to this bad boy here.
We've played on PlayStation. We have gamed together. I've gamed with four people my entire life. It's like he doesn't have my number saved.
He really hates country music, and he can't even save your number. That's what it is, PJ. He's
unbelievable.
Like, fuck this. He's like, fuck this.
So apparently it's gonna be a handicap match now.
Yeah,
I want to ask you, as like serious fans here, what do you think? I'll start with Miguel. What would be the worst outcome, you think? Where you guys would just be like, what the fuck? What are they doing? Like, what do you think would be the worst outcome in your opinion?
A great question.
This is what I do. So
in this match, I don't know if there would be a really. I mean, I guess I don't know if there would be a bad outcome. I would say I would be utterly shocked if LA Knight or AJ Styles won, right? So,
But you wouldn't be mad at it? Would you be upset?
yeah, I mean,
So wait, are we talking the fatal four-way or the Rumble?
Yeah. We're
The
talking
whole
about
out of the whole thing. Like if someone won the Rumble, do both.
Oh,
Okay.
out of the whole pay-per-view. Okay.
Yeah, because the fatal four-way, I'm like, how quick can we get the title off Roman? Anything?
Yeah, I wouldn't be too upset about it.
Yeah, okay. I'll go with the men's Rumble easily. If somebody that has no business of winning the Royal Rumble wins the Royal Rumble, I'm gonna scratch my head and say, what the hell is this company doing? Right? I mean,
Okada.
we have guys that on the roster that maybe haven't won a match in years, right? Jinder Mahal. I know.
Hey,
but Jinder Mahal, if he's in this Royal Rumble and he happens to win, and the main event of WrestleMania is Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal, I'm gonna scratch my head and say, what the hell is this company doing?
Well, if Jinder wins, I think the natural progression is Rock and Jinder. I mean, they already set that up on New Year's Day.
Storytelling.
So there is a storyline. See,
There-
there's
boom.
a storyline for everything. And maybe to PJ's point, they don't want somebody in. But you mentioned, like, someone mentioned if The Rock helps Roman Reigns win, then you could see that happening in the four-way. What if The Rock helps him win and then they announce their presidency and Roman Reigns is the vice president for The Rock?
Roman, you mean to tell me Roman's going to be the champ and still not show up to work because he got another job?
Well, that would be fitting because the vice president never shows up. So that would
ridiculous.
Wait, do you guys remember, Scott? You were watching back then. I know Art knows this, but you guys remember when Hogan in WCW announced he was running for president?
I thought that was 100% real.
Didn't Bob Backlund announce he was running for president?
Bob Backlund ran for Congress. In fact, that's a Royal Rumble moment.
Yeah.
He's a surprise entrant in the 2000 Rumble.
Okay.
And they're at the Garden.
Oh, yeah.
And, JR saying, I thought he was running for Congress, whatever. Gets eliminated right away. Boom, boom. Then he's going into the crowd politicking, and they're making JR and the King are laughing because he's running for Congress in Connecticut. But
he's in New York running for
New York,
I just don't remember.
Or JR's making fun, and King's like, well, maybe he's looking for Connecticut.
Didn't he lose in like a chess match to like Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
Yes, he did.
Or
WrestleMania 11.
This man.
Hence why it's one of the worst WrestleManias.
I don't know. Anything that references a chess match to me might be up there as the
him
best.
And Bret Hart had an I Quit match that I
remember that.
Make my worst enemy watch. So, and there's not many Bret Hart matches that you could say that about.
That is true. The best to ever do it, I believe.
No offense to Bob Backlund. I mean, but he is crazy though, legitimately crazy. But in all seriousness, I've heard he's dealing with some issues like Alzheimer's, dementia type thing a little bit. I just thought that's a shame to hear.
And he'd still put you in a chicken wing. I've heard.
Yeah.
I have a picture. He did it to me. So
of course.
Sidebar here, real quick. When he got inducted to the Hall of Fame 2013, they started doing this weird thing at live events where he would set up. They would have this thing. It was through WWE. They set up shop where they would do like these fake magazine covers.
Okay.
Right, and you would get a photo with him, and he put you in the chicken wing. He was working that shit. He had that shit on me, and here I am like a schmuck. I paid for this photo, and now I'm getting put in a chokehold.
This is what we expect when Fred pays for merch shit. This is what I expect to see.
Wait, hang on one second. Hang on.
You gotta grab, because my thought is Fred getting choked out by Bob Backlund.
Yeah.
Definitely getting tombstone. At some point, there has to be a tier at the one-man taker show.
My God, you do look in pain, man.
He's legitimately,
I wish I had
legitimately had that on me.
That's an awesome photo.
And
that's cool. That's the coolest thing you own.
They did it for a while, and then he signs it and whatever. It was like $30 too, or something.
I just have to say, I don't know your situation, but if you're on any dating sites, that should be your photo, and it should be former wrestler.
Yes,
it should be
on
right?
the cover of WWF magazine.
Former world champion. I defeated Bob Backlund.
Right.
All right, but for the last word, we'll do a final roundtable. I want to ask you guys one thing. So I created wrestling names for all you guys, like if you were professional wrestlers, okay? But at first, I want to know what you guys would wear and what colors you would wear. Like, would you go the one piece or like just the pants spandex? Something I've been thinking of all day.
I bet.
DJ.
Yeah. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go.
It's I mean, obviously, it's PJ North is my wrestling name, hence why I came my stage name anyway.
Right.
But I would wear very similar to like the Hook shorts, where they're like the boxing trunks, but not that long, right? That version, and then Jordan branded wrestling shoes, right? I mean, that's kind of my gimmick on stage is I wear wrestling tees and different Jordans to each show. And so I would kind of stick with that same gimmick. That's always been like something I love. And they say your wrestling personality is you turned up to 10. So I would definitely have, very similar to like the LA Knight boots, right? Where he's got like the Concord, which is so funny that everybody's bringing that up like in the last week, but he's got Concord 11 branded kind of thing.
You know why? Because he talks about it on the Chris Van Vliet interview. I never noticed that. And then he said
that's something. Yeah.
And I Googled it and I said, oh shit. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they're cool. Yeah. So anyway, that would be my thing.
So PJ, I actually had your wrestling name as PJ North. Because like I figured that would be it. And your finishing move would be a splash off the top ropes called the North Star.
Ooh,
that I like. That may be the worst thing of all time, but I'm with the rest of it.
Okay.
Of course, I liked it.
Miguel, what would you wear? Ladies, buckle in. Visualize all of us in this.
I feel like I would just wear like regular. I'm probably real boring with it, but I probably would just wear like regular pants and like a hoodie or something.
I don't think that's true.
I don't
You're wearing the Triple H underwear. Triple H underwear.
No, the Triple H football jersey.
With the Triple H gear and the WrestleMania football jersey.
The thing is, I couldn't pull it off, right? I'm more likely to pull off like a Giants jersey.
Yeah, you ever seen Earthquake and Typhoon? I mean, they couldn't pull it off either, but they gave it a shot.
Exactly. I think I would wear the Triple H skull mask that he wore, right? I'd have a little bit of game in, but other than that, it'd be just like regular clothes.
Well, I'm sorry to say, Miguel, but with the name I gave you, that's not allowed. I gave you Confetti Manetti, right? And I want you to wear long pants that are like fruit stripe colors, like confetti burst, and your finisher move would be a long punch, and it'd be called the confetti cannon, like something like that. So that's
boy, do we gotta look. I'm gonna share this picture with you, Scott. We've got a picture of Miguel Giannetti that's what he is in my phone as, and he's wearing confetti colored 80s gear with a mullet. It's on brand, so that checks out.
All right, Freddie. I know you've thought about this. I feel
100%.
What's underneath your shirt, Freddie?
What was that?
So what do you got underneath your shirt? Sure, you're wearing your gear right now.
Oh, I know. I'm actually wearing a Royal Rumble shirt from last year to represent for today.
Nice.
But no, I've always I think a lot of it has to do with Shawn Michaels, and I used to also love Triple H's original gear. Well, not original, but his DX stuff. So I would definitely go with the long tights. Always been a long tights guy, and black, definitely with some kind of design on there.
Slims you out, yeah.
Black always,
Yeah.
My question is, hold on, how tall lifts in your shoes?
Oh,
in your wrestling boots?
Take canes, and triple. Okay. Yeah, and that's still
cool. So, Fred, no, go on. What else would you wear?
No, and I would just say, so black with like maybe the name on the side. Like I always like if my name was written on the side, one part of the name on one leg, the other part on the other.
Well, that's good because you're gonna need two sides. Because I kept your regular name as your wrestling name because I think it's cool, Fred DeCourt, and your finishing move would be DeCourt's Adjourned. Right? And it'd be just an elbow drop. Gavel, like slamming the gavel down.
That, you know what? I have to say, I've come up with a ton of different wrestling. I've practiced autograph signatures with said, fake gimmick names, and I have never it never even crossed my mind. DeCourt's Adjourned. That's fucking genius, and I'm gonna write that in my notes.
I make music. We're creative thinkers.
That was great. I honestly, I love
Court's Adjourned. I gotta become a wrestler now just because of that.
Yeah. Oh, you could enter the Rumble and win it and piss Miguel off.
I'm gonna be number 10 because that's the number. I'm not gonna win anyway.
All right, Art. What are you wearing?
So I play a lot of 2K and a lot of wrestling games, and I've always created myself in these video games, and I've always geared towards the boxer brief looking tights, kind of like what Dolph Ziggler wears.
Oh
So
yeah,
like that's something I would envision. Something then
biker
like
shorts.
biker shorts, something like that. Yeah.
Would you keep the same hairstyle you have now?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure when I create you on my video game and Rainmaker you multiple times, I just want to make sure I get the same look.
Really shocked no one went with the jock strap look. I would have done it, but I'm not playing this game. Now, Art, pretty simple for you. Your name's Art. I'm calling you Art Class as your wrestling name, and your finishing move's going to be the Van Gogh, and you bite someone's ear off. That's it.
Mike Tyson.
That's it. What a great finisher.
The Van Gogh. It's very creative. I like
that's my bit. I hope you guys enjoyed. But final roundtable, Miguel, bring us home.
Yeah, so Royal Rumble this weekend, so excited to go, right? We just previewed the 4 matches that are listed. We have the men's Rumble, the women's Rumble, the Logan Paul match, and of course the main event, right? Roman Reigns defending title. I'm just looking for a good show. I'm looking for either CM Punk to win the Rumble or a surprise return and win by The Rock.
I guess Confetti Manetti stands no chance. Fred, go with it.
Well, I got to say, yeah, the Rumble, I mean, the Rumble is the Rumble. It's always good. Even when it's bad, it's good. And being there live, that countdown, 10, 9, 8, there's an adrenaline rush to it that you can't describe. There's an adrenaline rush watching it on TV in person, even more so. Tampa, Florida, 40, 50,000 people, way better weather than we're having right now here in New Jersey. I'm looking forward to it. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, the whole deal. And, just looking forward to it. 36th annual Royal Rumble, 36, 37, something like that. Started in 1988. So it's going to be an amazing show. Road to WrestleMania begins. And, D Court's adjourned.
That's so good. If you did a podcast again, that's it. That's the name of your podcast, bro. The Court's adjourned.
You know what, Scott? We were talking about maybe bringing it back. That might be. I was thinking of changing the name anyway a while back. That might be it.
The Court's adjourned. The wrestling podcast. Yeah. All right, PJ.
Well, first off, this episode's brought to you by Athletic Greens 2, not AG1. I just want to make it's AG2.
How did we not get a Bluetooth spot in this entire podcast?
Well, because Danny just refuses to support our podcast. We don't talk enough about baseball cards and Japanese women. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm super excited for the Rumble. It's always a great time. I hope that Cody goes back to back. But I'm excited to see what happens in general. I think we are at the precipice of possibly the greatest time in pro wrestling since, honestly, this is probably better than the Attitude Era at this point. We're getting to that point where it's starting to be the biggest thing outside of football, right? I mean, that's kind of what wrestling felt like in the 90s. So I'm excited. The road to WrestleMania is on, and it starts Saturday. For Gunther, it starts Sunday. But for us, it does start Saturday, so we're excited.
Oh, shit. And maybe you got to kick Danny down, go off the top ropes, and give him the North Star. Then he'll listen.
I'm going to try it.
All right, go on.
Yeah, what more can I say? It's the countdown and the surprise factor of the Rumble is the best part of it. So definitely looking forward to that and just getting the chance to be there this time. It's one thing to watch on TV, but being there in live with the crowd, it's going to be great.
All right. That's it, everybody. Enjoy the Rumble. I hope I did you guys justice, not being a very big guy on wrestling. But, I think I held my own and let these marks just spew their hate, nonsense, rhetoric, and all the good stuff. So maybe we'll do a recap. And if there's a Sable return, PJ might fly down there and get her autograph. So, there will be no Sable return. Watch the rest of the episode and you'll understand. Go back, rewind a little bit. Bye, everybody.